What's going on, Pick Factor fans? I'm Ladell here, filling in for LeVar Arrington, your expert for this evening. First of all, I want to wish everybody Happy New Year. Welcome to 2013 and ready for a wild card playoff weekend. First up, we're going to talk about the Washington Redskins versus Seattle Seahawks. These two teams are all too familiar with one another in the playoffs. The last two times the Redskins went to the playoffs, they faced the Seahawks in Seattle in 2005 and 2007, and Seattle came out on top. This year is going to be a little bit different, though. Redskins are hosting their first playoff game at home since 1999, so it should be a big one. The fans should be excited. Everybody should be pumped up for it. But let's take a look at how these two teams stack up against one another. The Seahawks are pretty much a mirror image of the Redskins in terms of offense. They have Russell Wilson, the dynamic rookie quarterback, a guy that can run. He can pass. He's a little short, but he finds good avenues and good throwing lanes to get the ball to his receivers down the field. But where their bread and butter is really made is in between the tackles. Some of that's done with Russell Wilson with his feet, and some of it's done with Marshawn Lynch, the Beast. If you don't know who the Beast is, all you have to do is YouTube this video of him running against New Orleans last year, the run. So they stack up pretty well. And then if you look at the Redskins, you have their dynamic rookie, RG3, Robert Griffin III. Everybody knows who he is. He came out highly touted, highly billed, and he's lived up to all the expectations. So, RG3 can run, he can pass, just like Russell Wilson. Then you look at the backfield with Alfred Morris, number 46, a number that's dear to my heart. He's done a good job as well. Basically came out of nowhere. 6th-round pick, 1,600 plus yards. You got a nice receiving core with the emergence of Santana Moss again, and Pierre Garçon's back healthy. So it should be an interesting matchup. I kind of give the offenses a wash. I think with RG3 hurt a little bit, I think they're about even in that aspect. Then you go to the defense. Now this is where it gets a little shaky for the Redskins. The Redskins don't fare as well in the defensive category as do the Seahawks. The Seahawks are ranked, top 5 defense. They've been stout all year long. Big corners, big physical team. They rush the passer pretty well with Chris Clemens. They have another young pass rusher in Bruce Irvin. So these guys can get after you a little bit on defense. But one thing that people don't take notice of, the Redskins are actually ranked in the top 5 in rush defense. So with the Seahawks being a rushing team and the Redskins being a good rush defense, I think they should match up fairly well in that category. All the secondary has to do is bend but don't break for the Redskins. So I have to give the advantage to the Seahawks in that category. But when you look at the coaching, Pete Carroll's done a fantastic job. He's lived up to all the expectations coming from college to the pros. But I have to give the edge to Mike Shanahan. Shanahan's been to 2 Super Bowls, or won 2 Super Bowls, should I say. And been in numerous playoff appearances, been coached for a long time, 18 years experience, so I had to give the edge to them. And then last but not least, the home field advantage. This time the Redskins are at home, so I'm going with the Redskins on this one. That's my pick for that one. For the second matchup, we have the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings, a rematch of last week. Last week, Minnesota was able to come out on top. This week, I don't know. I don't know what to expect with this one. I think it's going to be a close ball game. You have 2 teams in the same division, same conference, face each other twice every year. So they know each other very well. It's not going to come down to trick plays or gadgets. It's going to come down to who executes better than the other. Now let's take a look at the Vikings. The Vikings right now are Adrian Peterson. Oh, and did I mention Adrian Peterson? I mean, they run the ball with him first, second, every down. I mean, no one's been able to stop him yet. Everybody knows the story. The ACL, he's come back from the ACL. Came within 9 to 8 yards of breaking the rushing record. So he's had a tremendous year. And the Green Bay Packers have had a tough time stopping him. Both times this year, I think he's averaged, around 200 yards rushing against them. So they're going to have their work cut out for him. But the thing that doesn't bode well for Minnesota is they're missing Percy Harvin, their other big play receiver and their other big play weapon on offense. So I think that could come back to haunt them. Kyle Rudolph's done a good job, catching balls, from the tight end position. Christian Ponder's done a decent job, throwing the ball and managing the game this year. But at the end of the day, the Vikings rank well into, I think, maybe last in the league in terms of passing offense. So if Adrian Peterson doesn't have a big day, expect them to struggle. Now let's take a look at the Green Bay Packers. Everybody knows about them. Everybody knows about the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, MVP, Super Bowl. I mean, you've heard it, you've seen it all. I mean, they've got weapons across the board from Randall Cobb to Jermichael Finley to James Jones to Jordy Nelson to Greg Jennings. I mean, the list goes on and on. They have a myriad of weapons. So I think if they come to play, and with the return of Charles Woodson on their defense, who will add a little added bonus for them in terms of helping stop Adrian Peterson, I think that they're too much offense for Minnesota to handle. I think Minnesota would have to at least score in the upper 20s to even have a chance to win this game. I know they did that last week. I don't see a repeat this week, so I'm going with Green Bay on this one. So those are my picks. If you want to check out the rest of my picks, go to PickFactor.com, see how you stack up against me or the rest of the experts.